Hey guys, I'm in Fort St. John. My nostrils are freezing with every breath as we speak. I've never been somewhere this cold, and I thought I'd just take an opportunity to share the drywall work in my hotel with you guys. I thought it might be interesting to pick apart what we see. Anyways, I'm just up here building a skate ramp with some kids and helping provide some opportunities to get better at the thing I love to do. But yeah, let's get into the hotel room, see how it looks. Okay, here I am outside of Unit 600 in the Stone Bridge Hotel. Apparently this place used to actually be owned by the Hells Angels before they sold it. Anyways, check out the texture on these walls. Like, that is intense. That's not just your average like cottage cheese acoustic texture. Let's see what's inside. Okay, and they have that texture in here as well. Can you believe it? Look at that stuff. So this is not regular texture. This is actual stucco. Like, it is cement-based stucco. If we look right here where it hasn't been painted, we can clearly see that it's gray. It is sand and cement-based stucco. So this is the first time in my life anyways that I've seen an actual exterior finish applied to the interior of a building. So as we walk in, we got the important things, coffee cups and skateboards. And let's check out the view. I turned the couch around so that I could sit here and look out the window at this beautiful view of Fort St. John. Everything is really far apart. It's not exactly the most glorious location right here. Just a bunch of strip malls. But yeah, it's as cold as it looks out there. And down here we have a really good example of why when people ask me, Ben, why do you flat tape the gaps to things? You could just caulk it. Well, because the caulking always separates, that's why. Whereas if we had a flat tape there, you might have a thin hairline crack, but you would not have all this flapping caulking or this big gaping gap at the bottom here. That's why we flat tape. And after this HVAC unit was installed, you can see that the installer did the best that he could with what he had on hand. A few screws into the sill after cutting that out with a multi-tool. And of course we have a big crusty gap back there as well. Normally the couch hides this though, and it is a hotel. And getting away from the window, we have this inset door right here, again stucco. So this wall was not stucco. This is drywall. This is stucco. And it actually feels like that might be a cement wall of some kind. Again, with this little door right here. Bed. Another wall that is drywall. And if we take a good look at this, we can see the joints peeking through. Got some of those peak joints. Nothing too horrible to look at here though, just a wall. I spoke too soon. We do have this big spot where the wall seems to have been separating away from this big crusty stucco. And so you can see they've caulked it. They've done the best they can. Thankfully, that is such concealing stucco that, you know, you can more or less get away with it. And again, it's a hotel. And the only thing to note on this wall is we got a classic crack right there. So basically somebody probably boarded the top of this as one piece and then did the legs of this as separate pieces. So usually what I'll do is I'll take a full sheet. I'll go from that corner over there to that corner and it'll run down to wherever 4 feet ends. And that way you don't end up with separate pieces right here and right here. It goes all the way down so that this doesn't crack as easily. That's why we do it. It's called picture framing. It helps reduce the cracks. So going into the washroom, you can see they have a dropped ceiling. They often do this in hotels because it makes it easy to hide the mechanical systems and easy to service if they need to. We got a little bit of washboard effect on that corner. So somebody probably had their mud mixed way too thick and just didn't wipe hard enough or long enough, and then pretty much didn't even sand. So not that nice. And moving on here at the bottom, we can see what happens when you don't shim out your tub surround flange. So basically there's a flange right here, and normally you can shim out the wall a little bit to help graduate that slope over a longer distance, but when you don't do it, you get a super out of square tile like you have down there. It's kicking out about a ½ inch. And moving up from here, if we take a good close look, it's really not looking too bad. It's been caulked and painted. Got a little cracked joint up there. This could be refastened with some better screws. There probably isn't very good backing behind it. In fact, I'm guessing those are toggle bolts, and clearly there's been some work done on it. And when you just go around this flange at the top, you can see that somebody just kind of gave up. Like they just stopped working. It looks like they probably pushed their pole sander across and then gave up when it came time to get the sponge out and do the actual detail work, and touch-ups were clearly out of the question. And over here, again, where it's fastened, it looks like there's been some repair work. This has been done a few times. It's loose and shaken all over the place. But overall, the joint, the seam where this meets, is actually looking pretty good. I give them a solid B. It really could be worse. It's a hotel. The silicone job in the tub could be better, but it could be a lot worse. Mostly just air pockets. They didn't really spend enough time kind of like getting the material in there when they were actually caulking it. There was just some gaps, or maybe it's old material that they didn't scrape out enough. But yeah, could be better, could be worse. Okay, and as we look at this corner bead, I can tell by the radius that it is a vinyl corner bead, and there is a joint right here. So somebody did a repair on this. It's not uncommon to see bulkheads get repaired. Maybe there was a leak. It is under 10 feet long though, so you didn't have to put a joint there. There's no reason for this, and it snakes all over the place. So my guess would be bad framing and a glued on vinyl bead. That's why even on this camera you can see how bad it snakes. So definitely not a very high score there. And if you take a closer look, you can see we have some cracked joints, the usual hairlines, but you know, from a distance, it's hard to pick up on. And then moving down from here, we have some melamine finishes. Not uncommon, but it looks like it got a little complicated here. I don't know why they chose to do so much here. There could have been a simpler thing to do. Don't know why it had to run down to the floor like that. Made the tile setter's job harder. Everything is just a little bit funky with that. But overall, you know, the tile, okay, there's something to learn here. This is why it's usually a good idea to use the grout in a tube, like it comes in a caulking tube. So you pick a color that is pretty similar, and then you grout this bottom one with flexible caulking. Flexible grout-based caulking, so that you don't have that happening. And other than that, we're all done. And that's it. That is my hotel in Fort St. John, and all of the things that I can find to point out to you that hopefully will have some useful bits of information to show you why I do the things the way I do them and what I've shown you in the videos. I may be traveling a lot, so if you guys did find this entertaining or useful, you might see another one or two in the feed here or there. Anyways, I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope you guys are doing really well. I hope your projects are going really well, but I hope you're doing even better. So, thanks for watching. Till the next one.